What's up, YouTube fans? Today we're going to take a look at the Magic Square Light of Peace, their version of a Masterpiece Optimus Prime. So this is actually the second version of a Masterpiece Optimus Prime from Magic Square. They made one before. It was a pretty good looking and fun robot. That one was a little more chunky. This one is supposed to be more accurate to the original cartoon. In fact, let's put that up there while we're talking about this. But the original one was called Light of Freedom. This one is called Light of Peace. Either way, it's their second version. Now, the claim to fame with this one is the amount of articulation. So this has got quite a bit of articulation. But there are some things to know about it before you go off and buy one. So number one, there's only a few parts here that are painted. All of the white, blue, and red plastic you see is unpainted. Even the gray on the face there is unpainted. It's just a gray plastic on the neck and the face mask. What is painted is the yellow here on the waist over a white plastic, the orange here over a red plastic for the headlights, and then the gray crest here, and then the blue eyes. The rest is 100% nylon plastic. So just go in knowing that it is an unpainted figure. There isn't any die cast in this figure, and it is a nylon plastic. So with that being said, let's take a look at this figure. It is a pretty nice looking version of Prime. I obviously do have an issue here, and this is a common issue. It's not just me. So this smokestack here breaks during shipping. Mine was broken in the box if you didn't watch my unboxing video. So they are providing replacements. You can go through your retailer or you can go through Magic Square directly. They are offering that. I think you do have to pay shipping for the part, but they're offering the part for free. Let's take a look at his articulation, which is basically the highlight of this figure. The head is on a ball joint. It goes up to there really far, down to there, side to side, rotates, and you can also move the ears. So the ears will go basically any direction, all the way back, all the way forward. It does move for transformation, but it also allows you to pose the ears, which is kind of cool, which the original one did as well. For the shoulders, you get a ton of movement here. So the arms can go out to there, and it's on a double hinge, so you can get it even further. So you can get the arms all the way across the chest, which allows some really good posing. Rotates all the way around on a soft ratchet. I will tell you, even though it doesn't feel great, it does seem to work. You have this joint here on the shoulder, which allows you to get all the way up to there. Just the way it's designed, you get a ton of articulation. Get that up, and then you can get that up, so you can really get some crazy poses out of that arm. You have a rotation here at the bicep. You have also a rotation here at the elbow. Double jointed elbow gets you the full bend. Rotation at the wrist. Individually articulated fingers. The wrist can go in and out on this joint, and it can rotate. Fingers are pretty nicely done. You can splay them out, and you have 2 pins on. Sorry, one is a. I guess it's a ball joint. No, it's a hinge. So there's a hinge at the base, and then there's a hinge in the middle. So you can get him pointing. You can get expressive looks here out of these hands. So that's nice. Coming down to the waist, you have a rotation. You have a huge ab crunch, very similar to some of the recent Optimus Primes we've been getting, like MP44. It's got a double hinge, so you can get it way, way down if you need to for whatever poses, and you can rotate and crunch at the same time, so you can get some really nice movement out of that. Coming down to the hips, you do have hip skirts here on the side. You do need to lift those up in order to lift up the leg. If you don't, it'll collide with this. It doesn't break anything, but it does collide. You get the leg really high kick all the way up to there. Unfortunately, you bring it back down. The hip skirt does get jammed up in there, so you can just kind of put your finger in there, bring it back down manually. If you lift up this hip skirt back here, the leg can go up to there. Out to the side. That's on a soft ratchet, so it does hold, and it goes up to there. Coming down to this leg, you have a rotation at the thigh around the universal. That works really well. It goes all the way around. It's really freely done. The original Light of Justice figure didn't really have a good rotation here because it was held up by the hip skirt. So they definitely have a better hip skirt on this version. I don't have it handy, so I can't show it to you. You have a double jointed knee, gets you the full bend. Very nice. I do have a little problem here, so as you bend that joint, it tends to knock this panel off. So you kind of have to just do it gently, kind of have to hold here with your fingers. As you bring it back down, hold here. If you don't hold there, it will sort of pop apart, so you just have to hold on that panel. And coming down to the leg, you have or the foot, you have a rotation here really far. I mean, that's pretty good. And you have a toe tilt, heel tilt. The heel is on a screw, so you can tighten it, but it does tend to be a little bit loose on that heel. So as you're posing him, if you're standing him up and you have him not, kind of angled, you can get him sort of leaning back. He likes to lean backwards on these, and that's because these heels are articulated, and it is for transformation, but it also kind of moves on its own. I think you can tighten this screw and that'll help, but I did want to show you the original condition that I got this in before I made any adjustments or changes to it. And for size comparison, there it is next to the Transform Element Optimus Prime and the MP44 Optimus Prime. This is the KO version with the white legs. And I am going to do full verses on these, so I'm not going to spend too much time here. But obviously, just for scale purposes, it does fit in perfectly with a Masterpiece scale. Basically the same size as these guys. Similar proportions, slightly more, I guess, toon aesthetic. TE is probably the most squared off in terms of its look. Whereas Magic Square has kind of a good balance of rounded off and squared off. And then MP44, I don't know, the sculpt is interesting. It really looks good from the front, but there's other angles where this kind of looks a little messy, but we'll talk about that more in the verses. I just wanted to show you here what you get. As far as accessories, you do get the typical stuff for a Prime. You get his blaster here. It's just done in black plastic. Again, there's no paint on this guy. I have to imagine they're going to put out a painted premium version that has, painted gun and painted figure, but good looking gun. Typical Prime blaster. You also get this piece here, and let's see, I believe, yeah, this comes apart and it fits in his hand. So this is unique. They don't normally do it like this. They usually hide the hand away. And I don't love the way this plastic feels, but this will fit around it. Yeah. Not the best, but it does look good. I have to admit, that's a good looking axe and a good looking gun. I do find it weird that you can see the hand through the translucent, but either way, it works. You can get him going with these weapons. He's very, very posable, and these weapons work well with him. We're getting close in on the head and the face. One more accessory here is the matrix, of course, inside. So you can open up these doors. They kind of peg together like that. And you do have a painted matrix chamber here. You got the green there, red and yellow. That's about one of the very few paints on this thing. Lift that up, and there's a matrix in there. You're going to need a spudger to pop this out. So get it under here, and then you can pop that out. It is a plastic matrix, so no die cast here. It's just got a blue piece of plastic in the middle. Very simple, nothing really to it. All right, now let's get this guy transformed into his truck mode. It's a relatively fun and simple transformation, intuitive. I actually did it for the first time without instructions, then went back just to make sure I wasn't getting anything wrong on it, but pretty fun. So let's start with the arms here. We're going to rotate the arms to the side. You can just grab here and pop this panel. It's got a little tab that's fitting into there. You can accordion this out. I am worried about this little hinge over time. It's been okay so far, so maybe it's okay, but fold the hand in like that. You should have the fingers already folded up kind of like this. Next, rotate the arm at the upper joint there. Fold this up, fold this down, and then we're going to fold out the little panel right here on the inside. Then that's going to accordion upwards and tab into here. These panels need to sit kind of flush, so if you don't have the arm perfectly straight, if anything's rotated or on an angle, you'll have a little bit of trouble later going into truck mode. So make sure all those arm pieces are straight. All right. So same on this side. We'll do a little quicker this time. Rotate the arm to the inside. Untab this panel here. Unaccordion this upwards. Fold the hand in. Rotate this panel out. Fold the arm up at the shoulder. Rotate this down. Fold out the little panel. And then accordion this down so it fits. And make sure you have the arm straight. Bring this panel down and tab it in. So it should look something like that. All of these panels should be flush. And if it's not flush, it won't be flush later in truck mode. Right? Go ahead and open up his waist joint there. Come to the back here and we'll take care of all this. So unpeg his backpack. Fold that down. You want to take these panels and fold them down so they're coming from here. So it's actually this back, but it's this entire panel here coming down to both sides. And earlier I mentioned there wasn't any paint. This gray right here is painted. I forgot to mention. It's on a red plastic, but it's painted gray. At least that's what it looks like. All right, rotate these to the front. Open up the chest. Pull forward on this piece here. That'll allow you to take these or rotate these around. And then fold this panel down and into his chest. This is going to rotate around, and then rotate around like that, and just leave that there for now, because we're going to fix this truck piece. So come to the inside here, fold out this, fold out this. These panels are a little bit on the floppy side, so just be aware of that. This is on a slider, so make sure you slide this down. And then we can fold this back in. And this is actually very similar. It's got elements of like MP44, elements of MP10, elements of transform elements. It's kind of everything. Right, so fold this back in. And this should be slid all the way down before you fold this back in. Same on this side. Rotate this. Open up the panel. Open up the door. Fold that door down. Make sure this is all the way down on the slider. So you can fold this up. It should end up with something like this. Now this is going to push inwards. There's two slots that are going to tab into the side of these bumpers. So that's what's going to hold those bumpers in. So slide this forward all the way. Make sure you catch those tabs. And get that flush. And that's kind of what it's going to look like. Come to the back. Fold the head down. Rotate the head so it faces downwards. Fold these ears so they face downwards. Just be careful with them, but they should be facing kind of like that. You can have them almost perpendicular, but basically all the way down, but not actually hitting the plastic. So something like that. Take this panel here. This is going to come around. You can see this is going to fit around the head. And we can actually take these out of the way. And this is going to come all the way around. Bring these arms back. And this will come down and sit in here. There's a little peg on the front. So get that peg up and under the grill. These are actually going to fit inside here. So bring this down and in. And this may come untabbed, that's okay, you can just get it right back in. Right. You can close that door. Right, same on the other side, so let's put that one in. Make sure the door is open first. Then you can get this in, and then peg that in. Pegs in right here on the top. And then close that door. Now we can take care of these. So open this up. If your smokestacks are not broken like mine, you can lift them up. This one I have all the way up already. I just pulled it up, but I'm not going to put it back down. Rotate this around. These are going to fold in and store in here. And that's why you want to have the ears down. Otherwise, it'll collide with this. So you really want them down all the way so they don't collide. All right, there's two little tabs here. They're going to fit in. This is going to come down and sit like that, and then you can rotate this panel upwards. All right, next we're going to work on the legs. So go ahead and extend this down. You take this panel here. It's interesting. I haven't seen a prime that does this. Take this and rotate this around, and that's just going to sit like that. And then this whole panel is going to come up, and there's two little slots going to fit into here. So get that lined up, and then give that a push, and it should sit down like this. Right? So now we'll work on the legs. This is probably the kind of floppiest part of the whole thing. But come in here, take off this piece. Come on this side, take off the same piece there. Make sure you rotate this before you do that. Then bring this down, bring this over, and it tabs in right here. Bring that forward as basically as far as it'll go. We're going to come to the inside here and basically open up this foot. And we can actually fold this down too. So fold that down. And if you lift up this panel here, that'll expose the little tail lights. So that's nice. Should look like that. You can rotate this around and then fold that toe in, or the heel in. Now we can take this piece here. We're going to accordion this up. We're going to lift this out. And we can take all of this out from back here. Fold that out. Fold this out. This is going to rotate all the way around. So make sure you have this straight. I'm going to accordion this down so it sits like this. Then you're going to rotate this all the way around. And the smaller gas tank is going to sit inside the larger gas tank. It's actually kind of cool. Come to the bottom here. These tabs have to actually go in on the side. So you can't push it down. And I was initially trying to push it down and into these slots. But you're actually going to push it from the side. So get it all the way down and then push it from the side in this way. Not down this way. All right, then you're going to take this panel. That's going to come down. Tab in on the top. And then finally this will come over here. But leave that open for now because we got to do the other leg. All right, so I'll try to show this a little bit better. Rotate this forward. Open up this panel. Open up this panel here. Fold that up. Fold this down. That tab's going into here. Fold the leg upwards. You can take this toe and expose the tail lights. Rotate this around. And then fold that down and fold that heel down. Now that you have this open, we can take this and open that. And then open that. Take the entire leg. I'm going to pull this outwards on the slider. Entire leg, accordion that down. Fold this around all the way. And that's going to sit on top of the other gas tank. Come to the bottom. And get this pushed in from the side, not from the top. Then take this piece here. And this is going to accordion down and tab in to the top. Bring these together. Now it can be tricky to get this to actually tab together, so I recommend you get a finger in here and while squeezing, squeeze together here with your fingers. Because otherwise it's kind of hard. Another way to do it is open this up and just get your fingers around the plastic there and then squeeze here. Right, because that's where the tab is. There's no other tab other than that one spot. So it's just kind of hard to get to no matter how you do it. But put those back all the way down. And final step here, looks like this one made its way in already, but we'll do it on this side. This is going to tab in right here. So get that down and over. All right, and there we have Light of Peace in his vehicle mode. Not too bad looking. Got some nice chrome up here. Translucent yellow here for the signal to lights or fog lights, whatever they are. You have chrome for the headlights here. Now I thought this looked kind of silly, but then I went back and looked at the cartoon and it is kind of accurate. That's the shape anyway. You got chrome here for these rear view mirrors. They don't really stay. The doors do open, but it's just kind of floppy. But it is nice that they open. There's nothing in there, but it's a cool feature. I don't like that they don't stay shut. And then the rear view mirrors are also just extremely loose. This side's a little bit better, but it's just it's more of irritation than a feature. Anyway, nice chrome rims, rubber tires, rolls very nicely, nice and smooth. It doesn't have that weight, but it doesn't need it. It works just fine. Yeah, I do have the missing smokestack here too. I tried to pull it up as much as I could, but that's about it. The rest is broken off. This one, it does pull up about that much. So, not too bad looking. Very clean back here. Probably the cleanest of any of them, really. You got some lights too. I kind of like that as well, that they disappear in the robot mode, but you have tail lights and turn signals. That just looks cool. I like that. So overall, pretty nice looking vehicle mode. And for size comparison, there it is next to the MP10 Optimus Prime. Now, I brought this in for a different reason, but you can see it's pretty close to the cab size for most of the rest of these. Looks nice next to it, but you can actually use the trailer from MP10. So you get two adapters here, one for MP44 trailer, one for MP10. I don't have the MP44 trailer here, so we're going to use the MP10 trailer. And it's the one with the two slots. So I'm going to just take this off, plug it into here, and there you go. You can pull that trailer, you can turn, works pretty well. So nice option there with the MP10 trailer. So final thoughts on the Magic Square Light of Peace Optimus Prime. I have a lot to say about this guy, so this might be a long final thoughts. But let's start with the positives. This guy has great articulation, probably one of the best articulations out there for a Masterpiece Prime. Now I'm going to confirm that when I do the versus video with the other primes, but for now I can say it's one of the best. I also think this transformation is pretty darn fun. It's pretty easy, and it doesn't give you frustration like some others like MP44 or even Transform Element. Both of those are kind of advanced in terms of their transformation. This one is relatively easy. I also think the overall cartoon accuracy and the look of this guy, they've really nailed it in both vehicle mode and robot mode. So if that's something you really like, I think they really got that right here on this figure. Negatives wise, it's really all about the materials. The materials definitely cause some issues. And I don't mean that this figure is light. You know, weight doesn't really matter to me. It's not that important whether it's heavy or light. It's quality and performance. That's what matters to me, is quality and performance, because I transform my figures. So one issue is some of the tolerances and joints are not well done. So for example, I showed you when you bend this double jointed knee, this panel pops off. And you kind of have to hold it in place and kind of reseat this panel quite often. In the vehicle mode, I showed you the doors kind of flop open and the rear view mirrors flop open. It's just the tolerance and the material they use, the nylon, just isn't meant to, hold, right? The tolerances aren't great. And then there are some spots like right here or here where you've got some sprue marks. And because it's unpainted, you can see those sprue marks very easily. Right, so you don't get that premium feel and look because of that, right? It shows up. So if you are prioritizing cartoon accuracy and articulation, I think this guy, you're going to be really happy with him. If you prioritize build and paint and overall premium look, I don't think this is the right figure for you. I think they just went for a more bargain figure, but that can do everything that they wanted it to do. So it's kind of a mixed bag for me. I don't know if I recommend it. Depends on what you prioritize for your Prime. But that's it for this review. Stay tuned for the verses with the MP44 and Transform Element. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.